Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching either in real time or podcast time. This is Lauren, and I'm so excited to have my dear friend and mentor. I'm going to tell you a story here in a second, Amy Collette, also on with us. So as you guys know, I'm starting this little fun series called Makeover Monday, where I get to highlight some of the amazing people in my life, people that not only have inspired me and other people, but have a story that I think really should be told, a story that is inspiring to other people, that kind of pours belief, that shows opportunity into other people. And Amy absolutely has that. So I know we are in week 2 of our social quarantine, and Denver is in lockdown right now, kind of like a lot of the other cities. And during a time where I think we have a lot of reflection. There's a lot of things happening right now that some people are grateful they have a home-based business. You know, some people are grateful that they can homeschool their kids. I think there's a lot of people kind of in overwhelm, a lot of people feeling out of control, a lot of people worried about maybe what's going to happen. And both Amy and I are advocates of gratitude. You know, we both are advocates of designing our lives and being in a business that we feel like we're in control, and, you know, things that we're passionate about. And the purpose of this is just to offer a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of knowledge. Maybe something tonight just lands on you and goes, oh my gosh, if she can do it, I can do it. So Amy, I met at a networking group a couple years ago, one I didn't want to go to, but the minute I met her, I said, that's why I was supposed to be here. And she is an incredible publisher. She's an incredible book coach, life coach. She's a friend. And I had the privilege of working with Amy because she helped me publish 2 books. But more than that, I have the honor of having her as a friend. She's honest, she's loyal, she's fun, and I love what she's doing in the community. So not only has she helped many, many authors publish their books, she has these very fun author happy hours where we can get together, and just has created this community of people that are courageously sharing their story. She's put a lot of speakers out there in the world that they can share their story. And she's just a shaker and mover. And whenever I bring her up and I'll be like, oh, like, you have to meet Amy, they go, wait, I know Amy. And I'm always like, oh man, like she already beat me to the punch. So that being said, Amy, I would love to bring you on right now with just kind of sharing your story. Like, what were you doing before you owned your own business? Was there kind of something that happened that led you down the path of entrepreneurship? And just kind of let people watching tonight get to know you, for those that don't know you.
Well, thanks, Lauren. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited about what you're doing. I'm always keeping an eye on what you're doing because you're always trying new things and inspiring people and just getting people to raise their vibration. And that's what we're all about with gratitude and with a lot of the other things we do, including building community. And that's really important, I think, to both of us. I know you have your own groups, and I love that too. And so now we're all turning to online stuff, and thank goodness. So here we are. So the way I got started in entrepreneurship is I have dabbled in it for a long time. I started out, I don't know how long ago to go, how far back to go, but I was in the corporate world, and I left once, started a writing and editing business, and it was mostly technical writing and medical writing and science stuff about climate change and all kinds of things. So always learning something, always having fun with, you know, getting to know new people and telling their stories. But I was always telling someone else's stories. So then I actually went back to the corporate world for a while, learned a lot of new skills, a lot of group facilitation skills and things like that. So then when I started Unleash Your Inner Author, it gave me an option to bring all those things together, because in the meantime I had also trained to be a life coach, and I had written my own book, which is called The Gratitude Connection. Just happen to have it right here to show you. Gratitude Connection.
So good. Absolutely so good. It's phenomenal. I have it back here too.
Oh, awesome. That's great. It's simple habits for a happier life, and it starts for me with gratitude. So I took all those different experiences and things that I'd learned over the years with my own businesses and in the corporate world, and married them all together in a publishing company called Positively Powered Publications, and in book coaching with my programs called Unleash Your Inner Author. So Now I still get to learn new stuff all the time. A lot of it is personal development. Some of it is business acumen. Some of it is more psychological or therapeutic, healing of all different kinds. So that just thrills me because it helps me raise my own vibration and helps me meet my mission, which I always say is to help raise the positive vibration of the planet. So together as authors, we do that, and we have a much greater impact across the globe, really, with readers who are hungry for the inspiration and transformation that we're teaching and that we're sharing as authors. So it's very exciting for me to be an entrepreneur and work with the kinds of people that I do, and to help them make the kind of impact that they're looking for, like you mentioned, speaking and just getting their message out worldwide.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Everything that you're talking about, your journey and how it all came together. The two things that I want to kind of just highlight on here that you said, one of them is just right, raising the vibration of the planet. I think so much of this has to do with energy and the things we choose to focus on, you know, the way that we spend our time. And you exemplify that so well. And I can see it with the people that you've attracted in, the networks that you have, you know, the ripple effects within your community. And it's a good message for all of us. And even right now, during a time of chaos and a time that sadly there are so many people sick and there's people out of jobs, that like even finding the gratitude that everything happens for a reason, you know, finding the gratitude there's a lesson being taught, finding the gratitude that there's someone there to help you through this, like whatever that may be, because I know that you and I both have been in really dark places, and the way that gratitude has carried us through. And the second thing I love that you touched on is this idea of personal development. And I think often people are like, what does that mean? You know, like, and the one thing I just want to share for anyone watching right now is there is no there with personal development. It's not like, okay, I've been to Tony Robbins, I've got it together, you know, or I read the Gratitude Connection, I'm good. That this is something that you always do. It's like physical fitness. You just don't one day stop working out and hope to maintain a six-pack of abs. It doesn't work that way. And the personal development is so important as an entrepreneur, and being able to work on our money mindset, you know, being able to work on our business skills and our acumen, like you said, but everything that has to do, because as an entrepreneur, in addition to leading other people, you lead yourself first every day. And a lot of people don't know that. So you have led into a perfect question that I have for you tonight, which is, what's one thing that you wish you had known in the beginning of your career that you know now? Like if you could go back and look at yourself 5-10 years back and be like, ooh, I wish I had known this, what would that be?
Yeah, the thing that pops into my mind when you say that, when you ask that question, Lauren, is I wish I had had more confidence in my vision. You know, I knew what I wanted, and I could see it in my mind's eye, but I veered off of that path several times, just trying to find what worked, and to doubting myself, saying, oh, maybe I need to go do something else. I need to try this or that, and going different directions instead of staying more focused on what my original ideas were, which is really has come to fruition, but it just took maybe a little bit longer to get there because I wasn't so dead on focused on that vision that I had at the beginning. So
oh my gosh, that's so good. I actually just got off a call with my friend Todd, and he was saying something so similar that, like, you know, if you can see the outcome, the process might change, or the path might not be exactly what you thought, but you'll still get there as long as you're focused on the outcome. And I think that's so true. And I love that. And just having that confidence. And when you read about like famous failures, I always think about Walt Disney, you know, and when he talked about this vision and his business partner was like, no, like, I don't see the Magic Kingdom. But because of what you're saying, he had the confidence, he saw it, and now we all know what the Magic Kingdom looks like. So speaking of failures, and I don't like that word because I think that, you know, our successes are so easy, but that's not where we learn, right? We learn from our failures, but our mistakes or our mishaps or the things that didn't go as perfectly as planned. What's the biggest one in your life? Right. And what did you learn from it?
Wow. Okay, this goes back a few years. It was another small business that I started. And I may have started it too late, but my passion at the time was animals, and still is in many ways, but I wanted to make a business out of it. So I started a website called Pet Health Focus. And it was based on, it was kind of like, you know, Facebook for your pets, you know, but it was the place to go to find out how to take better care of your pets with health and wellness and food and nutrition, that kind of stuff, but also with different kinds of diseases or situations that you might have going on. So it had a chat room, or a, you know, a community where we could all discuss, forum groups, things like that. And it was really cool, and it grew really fast, but it didn't sustain itself the way I wanted it to. And so I felt really bad about that quote unquote failure. But in hindsight, you know, that really taught me a lot about building relationships, growing a community, making those connections and communicating with people daily on a daily basis, keeping that group going and keeping people excited and interacting. So it was kind of ahead of its time in a way, but behind its time because there was no way to really make sustainable income off of it that I came up with at the time. So that kind of went by the wayside, but like I said, in hindsight, it had taught me a lot about being a leader and being an entrepreneur.
I love that. And I love that you can even just own that. I listen to a podcast every day, and today it was all about rejection and about how like entrepreneurs really have to be okay with rejection, you know, and the amount of no's that you get, or a lot of people that don't like your ideas. And I think that's so good. So now one of the things that I want to really achieve with my Makeover Monday interviews is being able to pay this forward, right? Being able to give someone a little bit of advice or plug them into a community where they can learn something that will maybe help them. So if there was someone watching tonight, or when someone watches this that wants to follow in your footsteps, what advice would you give that person that maybe wants to be a book coach or wants to be a publisher? Some tip that could help them while they start out.
Yeah, so I could give you a million different tips, but I think the one that comes to mind is grow that idea, really explore it, research it, understand it, respect your vision, and have confidence in your vision. If you see a way that you can help the world, help serve people, and help, you know, grow your own business to serve yourself too, grow that, but grow it slowly. Don't try to launch it and, you know, think you're going to be a millionaire overnight. Really, it takes some learning, it takes some ramping up, and some care and feeding, you know. So if you've got a full-time job, I would suggest you keep it till you grow that following and grow your business up a little bit more so that it can sustain you. You want it to work for you as well as for other people. But also be flexible. You know, like I said, you want to keep that vision, but there, like Lauren said, many paths to get there, and technology changes, ideas change. There's different things available. You learn things along the way. So always keep that in consideration, that you may not know everything and that you have a lot to learn. And you'll learn something from every person you work with and from every other mentor that you know. Keep asking questions and keep learning.
That's so good. And I swear it's like you're here right now reading the next question I have for you. So I'm just going to go right into it, because the next question was, who are the people that have influenced you, and what did they do that have really mentored you or influenced you or played a role in your success path?
Wow. Well, I have to mention Carol and Marty Wolf. I got involved with them when I first started this business, and I always think that I may not still be in business if it wasn't for them. Both from Marty teaches business acumen, basically, and sales and things like that, so that you can really get your feet underneath you to do the things that you need to do to sustain and grow your business. And Carol is such a fantastic connector. She knows everybody in Boulder. Probably half the people watching this know Carol Wolf. So thank you, Carol, if you're watching. And gosh, I'd have to say my dad was an entrepreneur also. And he was just a relentless entrepreneur. If one thing didn't work, he would try another. And he tried and tried and tried until he got, he found his groove, and he kept at it for many years. In fact, he only retired when he was 85. He loved his work so much.
Amazing. Amazing.
The world he moved in. So he really taught me that it's possible, and to just keep being innovative, keep being creative, and keep building relationships. That's what it's all about.
Awesome. 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 Okay. And if you were to highlight a favorite book that you've read, what's a book that maybe has led you down the entrepreneur path, helped you be a better coach, inspired you, brings joy to your heart?
Oh my gosh.
That's hard because you've helped a lot of people. So.
Well, I have a lot of favorite books, including yours, both of your books, which I have in my hand. Get Off the Curb and Why Can't is a 4-letter word. Wonderful books. But I can't believe you asked me this question, because really, this book, I happen to have it sitting right here on my table. Creative Visualization. It's an old book. I first read this book when I was 14 years old. And it changed my life, because I thought, oh my God, there's other people out there like me. I didn't know anybody who was doing, meditation and visualizations at that time. And at that time, it was very weird. It was not in the mainstream. So, but I learned how to do it, and it really got me through some very hard times. And I just keep going back to it. I just recently bought this copy of it. I found it in a used bookstore, and it was like coming home to, a best friend that I had missed for a while. And so I just went on a retreat a couple of weeks ago and brought that book with me and read it. It's every bit as relevant now as it was many years ago when I first picked it up. So it's sort of gave me a foundation that I could be a little weird and have these these thoughts that meditation and visualization actually work and help you. It was where my self-development, personal development, and growth started. So it all goes back to the very beginning.
It's so true. And I think sometimes right now, like the word mindfulness or being mindful is like such a buzzword, but it didn't used to be. People talk about the law of attraction. It was kind of this voodoo type thing, or meditating was like, for these monks or yogis, and it is really mainstream. And so I almost want to thank you for being one of those people that has pioneered that and brought that to the mainstream, because I can't picture my life without it. I mean, I spend time every single day visualizing where I want to go, visualizing the people I want to help, and meditating and just kind of grounding yourself into the bigger purpose and the greater, whatever you want to call it, God or universe or energy that we're connected to. And I love that you just brought that up, because I think that relates with a lot of people. So just a couple more questions. One of them, before I forget, because I will end up forgetting, is I want people to be able to find you. So like, where can all these listeners connect with you? Like your website, your social media handles, like promote yourself right now, because I think you're amazing and I want you to.
Okay, thank you. That's so kind of you. So I'm everywhere as Unleash Your Inner Author. So unleashyourinnerauthor.com. You can see all the awesome authors, including Lauren, on there with their books and a little bit about them. And find out if you're interested in becoming an author yourself. There's information there. In fact, we have a group starting just next week. So then I'm on Facebook. I have a Facebook group for authors. It's called Positively Powered Authors. If you're interested in that, please join the group. We'd love to have you. We discuss all kinds of things about the life of being an author, and all the joys and excitement that brings, as well as working through some problems and issues, things like that. So I'm also on Instagram at Unleash Your Inner Author. And please reach out to me. You can private message me or reach out at any time if you want to connect.
So good. And I will just, Amy, if you want to put those comments in on the Facebook later, like the
Okay,
links,
sure.
your Instagram handles, the link to your website, please, I encourage you to do that. And I will just put a pun in here for Amy. Obviously, I'm having her on this because I think she's amazing. But I was one of those people that I was like, I want to write a book. But then I had no idea about what. And I had no idea how, right? I just had this vision. I went to Tony Robbins, Unleash Your Power Within, 2.5 years ago. And I was like, I'm going to write a book. And then would told people, like, I'm going to write a book. And they're like, oh, yeah, what's it about? And I was like, I don't know. And like, had zero idea how to get started. And then when I was down the path, and they were like, oh, well, I'm a writing editor. Well, that's different than a coach. And then you need a graphic design person. And then you need a publisher. And I was like, and I was so overwhelmed because it was like 20 cooks in the kitchen, none of who I kind of jived with. And when I met Amy, and I was like, oh my gosh, not only does she have this life coaching experience to go through the tough stuff, because a lot of us want to write our story, it's probably because you've been through tough stuff, Not only did she already have the publishing company, so once we had this manuscript, I didn't have to go somewhere else, but also she had these amazing templates that helped me create the story. In our first meeting, I'm not going to say what you do, but I didn't know. I didn't have the vision. And then we went through this exercise, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hires Amy, but I was like, oh my gosh. And I watched the story like come to life, and I was so, so, so grateful that I met her. So when she's saying, if you can reach out to me, if you've been like, I would love to write a book, but you're thinking like, I don't know what about, or I don't know how, like, that's okay. That's what she's there for. And she's an expert at it. And I've read many of the other books that the authors have put down, Erin Bear, Being the Badass is another great book that she has out there. I'm drawing a blank right now, but there's some great, great authors, not just in Denver and California, that Amy has worked with. So go to her website and grab those authors' books. They will inspire you. So the last question, Amy, I'm so big on contribution, and I would love to know if like time and money were of no issue, right? If you could have any charity in the world, or you could donate all the money or your time to this, like where's a place that maybe we can put energy, or we can make our next, contribution check to support a cause that's really special and dear to you?
Wow. Well, the one that obviously comes to mind for me, especially when talking to you, Lauren, is the Davis Phinney Foundation. And that's Davis Phinney Foundation for Parkinson's. There's a chapter in my book, The Gratitude Connection, about the foundation. And my husband and I are both very well connected with that group and with the people involved there. And they do such amazing, great work. In fact, my husband rode across the country on a bike to raise money for the Davis Phinney Foundation. So they're near and dear to our hearts. And other than that, I also love literacy foundations, anything that's helping kids read. And books have meant so much to me over my lifetime that I almost can't believe that I get to pay to read now. I get to work with books and authors all the time. That's very exciting for me. So Davis Foundation and literacy are the ones that are close to my heart.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for everybody who popped on live. Please reach out to Amy, and just know that both of us will continue to lift the vibration for the planet. I love that. And hopefully inspire a lot of people who are on their journey to be self-employed or just need to get over a wall kicking moment. So we believe in you, we encourage you, and the world needs a lot of great, driven, entrepreneurial people. So thank you guys for dialing in. That's another little episode of our Makeover Monday. Thank you, Amy. Good night, guys.
Thank you so much, Lauren.